Okay, back with Happy Chopper. Trying to get a better fuse to the lights. Okay, just had to make a coffee for this one. Because I do assume that it's going to be long. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's possibly going to be long. I'm going to try and keep it short as possible. Put you in the best place as possible. Right, there we go. So, this is about power. The people is why I like to always look at these things to see what we could do to make a difference for the people. And I always wondered and come up with conclusions and how we can make things better, but we always have another side to it with the power at the top. And on a scale, when you have power, you're going to have something, a minimum of that. There's going to be a maximum and a minimum to that power scale. And at the minimum, you're going to feel or see in people is the poor. And that would go to people that's on the street that has nothing. So on a scale, going to the top to look at why we've got the bottom the way it is. On the surface, we always like to say, oh, it's because of such and such as leadership. And that's okay to blame it on that. But what about when we look into the depths of it? Why do we have to have that leadership? And why is it the leadership that gets blamed? Why are we not looking at back down at the bottom? In the actions from the bottom to the top. So we need someone to take control, obviously, or everything gets out of order. In anything, even if you're doing it yourself, if you don't take control of what you're doing, it becomes reckless and dangerous. So you always need someone at the top having control. Now, that's never going to meet everybody's expectations. On a scale of putting everything together, all the top can do is do what's best for the calculations of everything. Now, obviously, we can all point out things that could be changed, authority that we could have that would be better. But what areas are we looking at? And what areas are we not looking at? So, sitting at the top, we mightn't be happy with the authority that we have and the control. Oh, by the way, before I go into all this, please listen to it all and not partial, because I am for the people, but I'm going to say things in this that will be against the people. And you may feel offended. But if you look at the whole story, the whole picture, then you will have an understanding of why you're feeling offended. And a truth to why I said what I said, instead of a partial truth to how you view it because you feel objective, because you feel pressurized that I've insulted you in some form or your knowledge, yet you're not willing to listen to the whole story, which lacks knowledge in the truth. So going on with that, sitting on the scale at the top and looking down, what do they look down at? The actions of Right, we have the higher class, we have the middle class, we have the lower class, and whoever's sitting at the top, sitting at the top. So they're going to be making the decisions for the rest of us. Not all decisions, but main ones that affect us all. So because of that, all scale is going to judge what's up here. And it's either going to be right or wrong. And the more wrongs there'll be with the more people, then they're going to be seen as that they were wrong. Yet, we're the ones doing all the judging. We're the ones that's doing all the acting that they need to judge upon us as we've judged everything that they do. They judge back. And by sitting at the top and seeing everything in a wider perspective, because there's more people to look at, then they're going to see a bigger truth to the picture. So when you look at the people that's on that scale and look out in the world and how people are, how they act, the behavior, who do you pick from all them people to put up here, to represent them people, to look after them people? Well, it's so hard to find because the people don't show you their genuine self, the truth in who they are. There's no loyalty in people today. There's no honesty. That's not saying everybody, but on the scale, the majority. And we've seen this through actions, through countries, through behaviour. And even war, disputes. If you were loyal, honest, caring, and responsible, then you should be able to manage things without the likes of war. But who brings all this upon? We can say it's the leaders, but who acts on it? It's the people. If the people didn't take these roles, where would these wars come from? We look at government, we blame government for this, that, whatever. But who's playing these roles? It's the people. The government doesn't have a structure where it's one person. It's a list of people. And they start at the top and they work their way down to the bottom. And they all work together. It's not just that one person that's sitting at the top. Yet they'll be the one to be blamed. It's all the people that take part in these jobs. And then characterize, they will judge everything that's at the top. Yeah, it's the people that's creating it, creating the havoc. And if you can't have people that's honest, caring, and loyal, then what do we have? Lies, cheating, deceitful, manipulating. And then we see that at the top because we create it in a family of the people right from the bottom. And because situations are seen in a poorer factor, we have people surviving through this way of being, lying, being deceitful, not honouring each other because of the way of seeing of lack. lack from the people that's at the top. So when you have people at the top and you want them to be loyal, honest, caring, and you're at the bottom and you're thinking of lack and you're dishonest, you're not loyal, you're stealing and cheating and deceiving, how are you going to get that vibration of the top down to you? Or how are you going to get up to the top to feel that vibration if you're not in the same way of thinking and being? So you want up at the top to be loyal, honest, caring, sharing with all the people, so we're all even as one. But if we were all acting deceitful and disloyal and cheating and stealing, how do we look at our brothers and sisters when we meet? Will we speak to them? Are we speaking to them to help them, or are we speaking to them to help ourselves? And most of the time it's to help ourselves. And in that, we'll disguise it in a way that we are helping another while we are truly out for ourselves, fighting to get up that ladder. But if we were all helping each other, instead of bringing the scale up here, the scale could be just sitting here at a flat line where everyone is equal to one another. So we have the top and bottom together, bringing that loyalty, honesty, caring, sharing, wealth, health. Because with your wealth is your health. When you're down at the bottom and you're worrying and caring and being dishonest and not loyal, stealing, thieving, lying, cheating, you're everything but what you want. And then you blame it on this, that, but it's you as a person. I'm not speaking to you, whoever may be watching, as one single person, but us as beings, people who cause that. And then we choose to work in these jobs that don't work, the system that doesn't work, yet we choose to work for it because we feel that we need that money to buy what materialistic things that we don't need, keeping us from the reality of everything. What do you really need is food to live on, to survive. And how much of that do you really need? As we are incorporated with thoughts that tell us, oh, you need this, you need that, you need this, you need that. There's a new thing out. Oh, I need that. Do you really need that? And so we're entrapped in a way that we have to go into these jobs as if we did need to go to them to get these items to feel good about ourselves, because we're told that we need these items to feel good about ourselves, while missing out on the whole world of beauty, honest pureness of love, of the earth that has been given to us to create these things in the first place. Yet we get lost in the materialistic things because there's so much waste. As you waste your life into that way of being and then become deceitful, lying, cheating, thieving to get up the ladder. As you speak to someone, you look for more information to see what they know, to see if you can get above them, looking at them as competition instead of an equal, deceiving each other. And then you sit and you look up at the top and you wonder why. Why are we poor? Why have we not got this? Why have we not got that? And why don't they share up at the top? Maybe they've learned something. Maybe they've learned not to be like that. And that's why they're up at the top, making the choices. The choices that we don't agree with. But why don't we agree with? Because we're mixed up in the material world of things, disguised as Well, if we were at the top, we would get this, we would get that, we would create this, we would create that. But yet, you can't even create the wealthy mindset or the honest mindset or the loyalty that we sit here at the bottom fighting one another to see who can do better than the other person without actually thinking about or caring about them. Just putting on a face front, a mask. Yet we put the blame on the people that's at the top. I'm not saying that they're innocent. Obviously, we see things that happen at the top, and when the things are played out, some things could be played out differently, of course. But why are then people sitting up at the top? They've chosen differently. And I'm not saying all this doesn't happen up at the top, but if all the people are acting this way and influencing it by going into these corporations, then you're bringing that to the top. You're fulfilling that to the top. You've started it off at the roots and grown it into them trees that it is. Now think if we all at the bottom started being loyal, helping one another and brought each other up together, we all could be sitting up at the top together instead of looking up at these 1, 2, 3, whatever people at the top that we despise because things didn't go the way that we wanted it to go, yet it went their way. But why? Because we didn't join together and grow as a family of beings together. We fought and we scrapped, so some ended up at the top, some ended up at the bottom. And we get a bunch of confusion.com. And then we were wondering why we are the way we are. Because it's been masked off from what the smart ones at the top thought of. Been making all these different things for you to grab hold and deceive you, because you'll jump to grab some coin before you'd look out for your friend. So your friend's in need of a few pound. You have it. You're not short of it. But you're nowhere near the top, nor the middle. Do you give it to them? Did you probably never get back? Will you give it to them? As a family, friend, being, brother and sister, will you help them out in that needed time? Knowing that you probably won't get it back, will you help them out? Probably not. Now think if you did. At least you'd have did the honest thing. And you have respect for yourself to know that you'd help that person out. Now they come back a second time and try it. Do you do it? No. You teach them some self-respect, that you've already done this and that it won't be happening again, that they need to look after themselves and look after what they have instead of wasting it. Like us all, we need to look after what we have instead of wasting it, just like our time. Not wasting our time on materialistic things outside of us that doesn't help us advance in who we are. Grabbing onto what is potentially, or what, having a direction. So you want to go to the top. What's bringing you to the top? And it's been in a loyal and honest way. But how? Where do you want to go in your life? So choosing that. So you want to be an astronaut. So you're going to do everything that's loyal, honest, caring for everyone that you meet on your path to being an astronaut. And when someone crosses that, then you let them know. And that way you're being honest, loyal, caring, and you're sharing that value of you rising to the top. And if we all done that together, we could all rise together without fighting and battling who's better than the other. And if you can help someone along that path as we all step up, then you help them. You don't think about the loss as it's not. Just because it's something material, it's not a loss. As I said before, if you give something to someone and they don't give it back, and they come back again and try it again, and you explain why they're not getting it, it's a gain on both sides. You gain respect, they gain respect for you. You've also helped them out, so they've gained thanks, or they should do at least. At least you have the self-respect to know that you done what was right. And you haven't really lost, because if they can come back a second time to ask you, then you're still okay. But they're still at the bottom. But you've given them some material stuff to help them, which didn't work. You've also now given them a lesson to help them to get that material to help them advance in who they are. So you've done good all round in being loyal, genuine, caring, honest. No matter what that other person does or doesn't from their point, you've did the right thing and spread out the good word. Instead of, no, that fucker won't give me the money back, give him it last time, and even saying that to them, what good's that going to do? What, keep them in that path that they've been on? No, you can correct it by explaining that you'd have already give them money and a handout to help them, and they're still here. Then they need to make use of any handouts that they do get and turn that into something valuable in their life instead of begging all the time. So helping one another, yes, is a way to go, and caring for one another. But you don't keep on helping the person that doesn't help themselves, obviously. You can help them out, and if they keep on doing that, well, then there's a lesson within themselves they need to learn. But we can do that by showing them where you've helped out and you don't keep helping out, and you explain that to them. And then we can grow together to the top. And then maybe we won't be looking up and judging all them at the top. Not saying that'll happen today or tomorrow, but what about a start? As because being dishonest, being disloyal, fighting, battling with each other, who's better and who can get to wherever first. Everything's a race. And what about we just walk it on a steady pace together? What about we climb that ladder together? Like we're pulling each other up one by one. And just automatically thought they're working as a team. And I've seen this vision of a ladder, and there's men, different parts of the ladder, and they were putting a fire out. Yet there was, say, 50 to 100 men in a line, and they were passing buckets of water, and they got the fire out. And then this was a house, and then after the fire was put out, they all came to the house together and worked and rebuilt the house, accomplishing it together as the people. Not blaming one person or someone at the top of the ladder, it was them that did it. Not ridiculing the person that was at the bottom, oh, if you had been here, then it would have been prevented, or something along that way. But working together, the difference it makes. Or if you had one person doing that, what would you get? The house burnt down. You wouldn't have all the people to rebuild it either. So it's about coming together instead of blaming this one, that one. Yes, we can look at corporations, but why are them corporations there? Because you or I or some other person out there is keeping them going by working in these establishments to get some kind of wealth, to buy some material thing out there that is unimportant. So we can see that person above that we ridicule rise further away from us instead of coming together and rising up till we get to them. And then by that time, what can they do? What could they do against you? You've a whole posse, a whole army with you. And you'll be sitting at the top with that army, equal to one another. Hopefully this can help people out there. In who you are, I know it can. Because it's about honesty, being loyal to one another, caring for one another, looking out for one another, helping each other. So how could it be wrong? There's no wrong to that. There's only being dishonest, the opposite of it. Lying, stealing, cheating, deceiving. Is that how you want to be? Is that how you want your children to grow up? And the children after that, and the children after that? How would there ever be an advance in life if we can't change as people? If we keep feeding that negative to the world, then it's going to be. And you're going to always see at the top that negative because it's at the bottom. You started it off and you keep it going as you go up the ladder, filling them spaces in that tree, out in them branches, branching out into different areas, different corporations, filling them departments up so it can become that tree, and someone will sit at the top over all them departments as you still be the root at the bottom. The root. Literally a root. Do you remember anyone calling you a root when you were younger? Like you're a clown because you haven't got the capabilities to bond together and rise up together. Hopefully you get an understanding of this, and don't feel offended in any way. It's not a picking at anyone in particular, because we are all here as a collective. And if you feel offended, well, then maybe you need to look at yourself. Why are you feeling offended? Maybe there's a part of that is a truth to you, that where you need to look at yourself, as we all do, in some way or another, so we can help look after one another as brothers and sisters. The way we all preach, but do we do it? This is Happy Chopper. Love and peace.